Hey, let's do this, crew. Today I'm going to be showing you should you pay for the spray or spread it yourself. We're going to be doing DIY seal coating, so let's do this. First, you want to start with your speed fill. This is going to fill all your cracks. Just nip the top of that nipple there, turn it around, and you're ready to fill. Shake up that bottle a little bit. Make sure to put on your shoes that you don't care if they get a little asphalt filler on. These are my awesome Cabela's Garage shoes, recommended for every homeowner. So go ahead and fill those cracks. When you get done, you're going to go back with the spackle and scrape them, fill them in, even it up. But it fills cracks up to 1/4 inch thick, pretty deep. I haven't had any trouble with this stuff in the past. At the bottom of my driveway, you're going to notice now, and at the end, that's where I did some pavement filler a few years ago. So it's not as even down there. At the bottom of my driveway, that thing's pretty beat up, so I didn't even try to do that with crack filler, but I did it with the seal coat. So here's the spackle. Just go ahead and put that in. So you want to spread it out even, and then when I'm done with my asphalt cover, you can't even tell where my cracks were because you evened it out, and then when you cover it, it fills in the rest of the cracks that are smaller than this, so it all looks even. So this is where the savings come in. You buy that speed fill for $14. You buy 5 of these latex light. You're going to be $20 a piece. So that's where it's $130 after tax. And if you need to buy a squeegee, you can see mine is pretty well used there. You want to mix up your bucket till it's a sludge. So there shouldn't be any watery stuff on top. What I do, see my buckets are upside down on the sides of the driveway. That's so while they're resting, all the thicker stuff is actually going to the top. So when I flip them over, now when I'm stirring them up, it takes not even half the time. So otherwise you'd have to get all that goopy stuff from the bottom stirred up. So remember that. So here we are spreading it out. You can buy these squeegees for $15, and then you can just use it every year and use it to squeegee all the water out of your driveways if that's an issue where you live. If you get snowy tires and they melt, or a rainstorm, if you don't have a good seal, then you can use this squeegee for all kinds of things. But they sell them right by the buckets of the asphalt sealer. So thinner is better. You want it kind of a quick dry time. You don't want to leave it thick because then it's going to chip off a lot easier. Actually, it has a cure in it, so it's going to cure. And you don't want it to cure unevenly because then your color is going to be uneven. So pick a nice thin coat, and you want to do it on a day where you know it's not going to rain for 24 hours. So keep that in mind too. I always tend to pick the hottest day of the year by accident. It's about 98 degrees, humid as heck. I'm out here doing my driveway, and my neighbors are wondering, what the heck are you doing outside when it's that hot out? I don't know. It just happens to be the hottest day of the year is the day I always decide to do this. So fall, spring would be fine. I think on the buckets it says you want around 70 degrees when you're doing this and fairly low humidity, so then it cures properly. One bucket goes a long way. I get the thickest part of my top of my driveway here done with one bucket, about 1/4 of the way down. And then as it gets thinner towards the bottom of the driveway, one bucket will go the rest of the way. I think I got one coat on with 3 buckets. And then I started doing my second coat, and I got pretty much all the way down to the sidewalk with my second coat. And then you're going to see, too, when I'm spreading it out, I do want to start tapping my squeegee on the side of the driveway that's not covered yet to get all the excess off my squeegee, because when you're scraping it, you don't want to leave any runs, because when it does dry and cure, you're going to be able to tell everywhere that squeegee was if you don't clean it off when you reach up to pull it down. But you're going to figure that out when you're putting it on yourself. I just figured I'd mention that. There's a technique to it, definitely. As you can see here, as I pull it, I'm going to be tapping that squeegee off to the side, and that's to get all the excess stuff off of there. My neighbor's a garbage truck driver. He sees hundreds of driveways every day. And he came over when I was done, and he said, "That looks really good. He's been wanting to do it himself, but he's been seeing all these poorly done driveways with runs in them, and people that apparently, did 2 coats too fast, and he says they didn't look good, and he saw mine, and he, said it looked really nice, and he looked at my bucket, took a picture, and he said he's going to start doing his now. So the bucket's tipped up upside down right now in my driveway, so when I'm ready to use the last little bit, it's already on the driveway. So that's another tip for you too. So then you get every bit out of the bucket, then you don't have to try to somehow scrape it out of the bottom of the bucket. So we're already down to the bottom of the driveway. This whole process of the actual pouring it out and squeegeeing probably took me, I couldn't even guess, 2 hours maybe. And for the prep work, I edged my driveway with the weed whip, and then I also have an edger. But before that, after that, then I pressure washed it. So you want a nice pressure washer, take up all that last time's sediment, sand, top coat, anything that's loose. It'll get it all to the bottom of the driveway. Get all that dirt off of there, because obviously you don't want to be sealing your dirt to your driveway, because it's not going to seal and cure properly. It's all just going to come right up. So that's after 1 coat. Like I said, at the bottom of my driveway, it looks pretty ugly because that's where I've patched it in with some asphalt patch. And here's coat number 2. Since I already filled the cracks, and since I already have another coat on, the second coat goes a lot faster. You still don't want to leave your lines. You want to clean off your squeegee in between runs, because you don't want to see where you've, double covered an area. When you cure, you're going to definitely tell if you have any of those. And as you can see, my trailer I've lifted up with a piece of wood to keep the wheel off the driveway. You don't want any kind of heavy items or traffic on here for 24 hours. It says cars 48 hours would be best. So I have my cars parked at the bottom of the driveway. And I've done this. This is my 3rd time now. And yes, I would way prefer to do this than paying a truck to come in and do it for $500 and some dollars. And that's for my size of a driveway. I learned my mistake in 2006, I think. Someone said they're going to come, we have enough on the truck to do 1 more driveway. We'll do yours for, at the time it was $300. And I said, yeah, go ahead. And it's just like spray painting your driveway. I mean, it didn't really cover it. They didn't edge it. Maybe they swept it. They probably just took a leaf blower and did that. But it was like painting my driveway. The next year, it looked horrible again. So as you can see, this part of the driveway looks really good. The last part towards the road is so cracked up, it wasn't even worth trying to do the filler on it. But that's where I put in my patch, so that I expected to be a little bit rough. And over here, this is how bad that looks. So still covered it nice.